Hi again, you guys. Welcome to today's video. I am Jennifer Lynn Adams, and I call myself... Whoa, that was lightning, you guys. Will it be thunder? Only faint thunder in the distance. Ooh. Anyway, I call myself the real Venus de Milo. I'm here on my channel to share my story about being extra-abled and facing the challenges that I do in life, but also the victories. And I'm just here to share my life experiences, and hopefully we can swap stories, we can learn from each other. And I think it's really important for me to share with you guys that I am really here for my extra-abled peeps, for people who have faced physical, mental, and life circumstance challenges in their life. I use the word extra-abled because that to me describes someone who has overcome physical or mental challenges, and they have learned from it, they have gotten smarter, they have become even more able in other areas in their life. And so I'm here for my extra-abled peeps. So today's video is about protecting your energy. I think it is so important, especially as an extra-abled person, to value your own energy, because your energy is magic, it is precious, and honestly, it can be easily depleted. So today I'm going to be sharing my own experiences and how I've learned how to protect my energy. And with that, I'm going to share some tips that I've learned for keeping my energy healthy and vibrant. First of all, I have learned the hard way about protecting energy in my life. Starting from early adulthood up until very recently, I have lived in a cycle of go, burnout, go to the hospital, almost die, rest, get better, start over again. And it was just only a year ago that I realized, that was when I turned 40, that this had been the cycle for my life. And I said to myself out loud, and I wrote it down in my journal, that I will not do this anymore. I am getting myself out of the cycle of go, burnout, end up really sick, hospitalized, sometimes an inch from my life, and then rest, and then get better, and then start the cycle over again. And I said, because I just shared in my last video, which I'm going to post a little link to right here, that I was in the hospital on my 40th birthday last year with a severe medical issue that brought me an inch from my life. And I have done this several times. I ended up in the hospital when I was in my mid-20s, an inch from my life. I ended up in the hospital in my early 30s, an inch from my life, and it was always something very serious and life-threatening. I've had septicemia, I've had severe life-threatening anemia, I have had hemorrhaging, and I realized that this was because I would push myself so hard until I just burnt out and I was just kind of like chopped meat. And so what I realized, the reason why I was doing this cycle, why this cycle was happening, was because I was putting so much pressure on myself to keep up with able-bodied people. So I was trying to keep my work ethic the same as able-bodied people, my life activities the same, my social life, my career, everything. And the truth is, it took me so long to come to this, which is why I'm sharing with you. Don't do what I did. If you are extra abled and you are facing physical challenges, health challenges, mental challenges, whatever it is, recognize that those are your limitations. I even built a whole career on being unlimited and telling people that, I was unlimited. And in many ways, that's true in a spiritual sense, but in a physical sense, I am limited. And I thought it was weak for me to admit that. And I thought it was weak for me to let it stop me or slow me down from keeping up with the race of other people who are able-bodied. And so that was the first humbling thing that I had to accept, is that I am limited. This is a long-term, lifelong condition, and it's not going anywhere. And it does require a different type of pace in my life and an extra level of self-care that somebody who's able-bodied might not need. That brings me to tip number 1. Don't try to keep up with able-bodied people. Not in your work ethic, not in your daily life, not in your social life. Stay at your own pace. Find a pace of life that works for you, that feels doable, that feels sustainable. That's the key word, sustainable. Because you want to live a long and happy life. Another thing that's within that exact same vein is acknowledging that it takes me a lot more energy to do a basic task than it would somebody who's able-bodied. It takes me way more energy to do my normal everyday tasks, like getting dressed, cleaning my apartment, taking care of myself, just daily self-care. Imagine in your position, if you're not extra abled, doing all of that with the situation that I'm in. It takes extra oomph and energy to do all those things. So with that, it means that I spend half my day just doing basic tasks like eating, bathing, taking care of myself, getting dressed, and it leaves maybe 2 hours in the day where I can be active and out doing something. And so that's something that I have to accept. And I also have to allow myself to give my energy to that self-care. So that leads me to tip number 2. Give yourself the energy and the time to care for yourself and do the self-care needs that your body needs. Another thing I've experienced that I have had to acknowledge can really suck the energy out of me in my life is toxic people. Some people are like vampires. Their mere presence sucks the energy out of you. And so I think it's really important when you have left someone's presence to acknowledge, do you feel icky? Do you feel scared? Do you feel tired? Do you feel upset? If you're feeling those things in the presence of someone in your life, it's really important to acknowledge that and to set boundaries. That might mean minimal time with them or no time at all. I have had to go no contact with people that I never imagined I would. And it really broke my heart. But in the long run, it has been so healthy for me because I get that energy back that person is constantly vampiring. So that leads me to tip number 3. set boundaries with toxic vampire people. Another thing that I have noticed, it makes a huge difference, is the way that I'm taking care of my body. So in the past, like I said, I've had major nutritional deficits, which have led to life-threatening illnesses just due to a lack of iron. I've been vitamin D deficient, and I've been hospitalized more than I can count for dehydration too. And it took me way too long to figure it out, but I finally did. Drink a lot of water, and also add a lemon wedge to the water that you're drinking. For some reason, it helps the water absorb into your system better, and I've noticed a huge difference. So pay attention to the foods you're eating. I think it's really important for you to know what kind of diet works best for you. For me, high protein, low carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free with no sugar is super important for me. And honestly, if I veer off from that, even for a day, I will feel the effects drastically in my energy. So that leads me to tip number 3. Eat healthy and hydrate. As some of you know, I spent 3 years in Miami, and while I was there, I got really into yoga. And one of the most important things I learned in yoga was to breathe. And I actually had a yoga instructor tell me, she worked with me one-on-one, and she said, "You don't breathe enough." And she talked about how our breath is the preemptive thing we do before a phrase. So it's the thing we do before we do our next activity, before we say the next sentence, before we do the next yoga pose. And if you do not take enough adequate breath, you will feel weakened and dizzy or just depleted. And so it's something that I have learned the value of, just simply breathing in and out and taking deep, nourishing breaths. Every day. I take these deep breaths morning, noon, and night, and I cannot tell you how much it has made a difference in my everyday quality of life and also my energy levels. That is all I have to share today. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe below. Please like this video. Please comment. And I will see you in my next video.